Hey guys, I want to ask you a quick question. How do you renegotiate your real estate deals? This is Jerry Green. I want to take a little bit of time and share this with you today. But do me a favor, guys, before we jump into this, please subscribe to my channel. And if you really enjoyed the video at the end, make sure you like it for me. All right, so let's talk about this. Renegotiating your deals. I think this is the thing that everybody in this business hates, also really fears. They fear the renegotiation side of things. So, I mean, really, what am I even talking about here? Okay, so you go out, you put a deal under contract. You put this deal under contract, and now you go out and have some inspections done on this property. Inspections come back, and inspections show that there's a lot more work to be done than what was originally told to you, okay? Now, especially when you're doing this virtually like we do, okay? You're gonna find this to be more of a common thing that you're gonna see all the time. But you're gonna see it too sometimes when you're talking to a seller on the phone, then you go out and meet them at the property and think you're ready to ink the deal, then you find out that they didn't tell you the truth at all. But remember guys, this is pretty common on things, so don't beat yourself up over this. I mean, remember, sellers exaggerate all the time, okay? It's very, very normal on that side of things. You're gonna get a seller to tell you, oh, it doesn't need that much, and you guys know that. They've been doing, any of you that have been doing this business a while, you know how big that is. If you haven't been doing the business, then you know, or I should say, you're going to be knowing that this is a truth here very quickly on things, because this just happens. It's just the way it is. You cannot really believe a seller, okay? And that's just, you know, that's just the nature of the business. So a seller will tell you, well, you know, it does need some new carpet, and it needs a little bit of painting, and you go out there and the drywall's hanging down, or the carpet's completely tore up, or it stinks and it's all stained with cat pee and dog crap and all this stuff here. I mean, that's common thing that we see all the time, okay? By doing that though, what happens, guys, is you're in a position where if you're talking to someone and you're putting a deal together, I'm going to talk to you about a couple things that we do that helps you on the renegotiation side of things. Because you know it's going to happen. That's just the way it is. Because, you know, none of the deals or none of the properties are ever what a seller really says. Every once in a while, they'll come in exactly what the seller says, or even better. But that's a rarity. So one of the first things we do is I always like to try to get my acquisitions rep to ask the seller, let me ask you a question. Any idea what you think the property needs in repairs? Oh, I have no idea. Well, any idea if you could just give me a roundabout number? If you were going to repair it and you were going to have it done, what do you think you would spend on it to make sure it was market ready? Oh, I know I could have this whole thing done for $10,000. Okay. Well, guys, what I want you to do is jot that down. This is why it's so important to take handwritten notes when you're talking to a seller, okay? Jot that down. Okay, $10,000, that's what they said here today. And then you write it down, write the date, and everything like that. Now, let's say you get the deal under contract. You send an inspector out, or you go out and check it out, whatever it is. And now the repair estimate comes back. It's not $10,000, it's $35,000 or $40,000, whatever it is. Then what you can do, guys, is that's part of your leverage when you can go back to a seller on that. Because now you're in a position where they told you $10,000, okay? You know, and it comes back at, you know, 35 or 40. You can go back to them and share that with them. Say, you know, Sally, when I talked to you back on the, you know, April the 2nd, you know, you mentioned to me that you think we could do this for $10,000, and I even wrote down that, you know, maybe you were on the low side, maybe 15, but it came back at 35,000. So, you know, Sally, wow, what should we do with this? So, you know, notice how I position that, asking them what we should do with this, instead of me just coming in and attacking them and bringing their price down, okay? So by doing that, guys, what happens is you're in a position where you have some evidence here that you're building up, okay? And the person with the strongest notes is always the one that wins, okay? So that's one thing you can do on things there. That's all kind of setting things up. The next thing you look at is the renegotiation side is when you get the inspection back, you're typically going to get pictures on this. And the pictures, so powerful, guys. You know, the pictures tell you so much. And the thing is, a lot of times too, guys, is these pictures of the property, you think about a seller could be in position where, you know, I'm in Ohio, the seller could be in California. Maybe they have never seen this property at all, or it's been years maybe that they've seen it. That's a common thing we hear over and over again. And they have no idea really what the condition of the property is. So part of your job is to make sure you share this. So if that repairs comes in much higher than was expected, you need to make sure you take the time and you go ahead, share the photos with this client, okay? Because a lot of you guys are going out there and you're in a position where you're trying to work with the seller. And you're saying, well, you know, it needs a lot more repairs on this property and I can't buy it for that. I can't give you this. Well, you have no evidence. You have nothing to back it up. And guys, when you do this, people appreciate this. You'll be surprised. People will thank you for taking the time to do this. It shows that you're honest. It shows that you really are trying to help them out. And then you're not trying to pull the wool over their eyes, that there is a significant increase in repairs that need to be done on this property versus what you originally talked about. And they can't argue that, guys. The pictures are the most powerful thing that you can share on things. So what we do a lot of times when we're renegotiating with somebody, we'll talk to a seller, say, Sally, seller, you know what, you know, Sally, look, I know we talked, and when we put things together, you mentioned to me that it needed probably somewhere around 10,000 repairs. I figured maybe, you know, I jotted down maybe 15. So, but I got the report back, and not only did I get the report back, I also got back these pictures. And Sally, I'd love to be able to walk you through these pictures, if that's okay with you. And then get them in a position where you can share the pictures with them, and not just send the pictures to them, but actually walk them through the pictures while they're on the phone with you. Guys, this is one of the most powerful things you can do, and so many people miss out on this. Because when you're walking through those pictures, what you can do is it tells a story. And what happens is, I always share this here, is that people become numb to their own environments. If you think about this, I'm sure you have this in your own home you live in, where you have a home you live in and there's things that need to be done around that house, guarantee you, okay? Just like in my home, I have the same thing. There's stuff that my wife's like, hey, when are you gonna have this taken care of? When are you gonna have this done? And you just gotta go on about your day and doing things, and that stuff never gets done. Okay, well, the thing is, they become numb to that. There's part of their environment. Or if it's a property, maybe a rental property, they just haven't seen that. They don't have the awareness. Well, your job is to bring that awareness out again. And it does it on really a 10x side of things when you put in pictures with that. When you're telling the story, then you add the photos, oh my gosh, it's a major impact. And then people see that, and you walk through, and you might see the roofing. It might be, they say, well, it doesn't leak. Well, you know, guys, another thing that we do a lot of times is when we're doing that, we'll make statements like, well, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I understand it doesn't leak, but unfortunately, it's at the end of its life cycle. And, you know, somebody is going to have to, you know, someone's going to have to replace that roof here. And the thing is, if we fix up and sell it, we're going to have to replace it. Or if you try to sell in open market, you're going to have to replace it. So let me ask you, what's the best thing to do? Do you want me to take care of that right now? Or would you rather take care of that? And they'll say, well, I don't want to take care of it. I want you to take care of it. Okay, so if that's the case, then what we need to do is just adjust the price for that. Say you do that, you just go through and you knock things off. And then they feel comfortable about doing that. And you'll be amazed. You can turn around and get a $20,000, $30,000 discount just on a phone call with somebody, all about based upon your positioning. Another thing that's really powerful too, guys, is price anchoring low. So let's just, for example, let's say that your report comes back in pictures and shows it needs major work. What you can do is then go in a position and say, you know what, Sally, you know, I talked to my partner on things. Now, your partner could just be your funding partner on things, or if you work, you can have one of your acquisitions reps say that it's, you know, it could be you as the boss. And the acquisitions reps say, look, I talked to my partner here on things, and unfortunately, they don't want to go through with the deal. And they're like, oh no, what's going on? Well, the reason they don't want to go through the deal is it looks like the repairs are double what we originally talked about. We thought we could do this for about 15, and it looks like they come in at 30. So there's just no way that we can make this work currently on things. So they're asking for an additional $15,000 discount on things, or $15,000 additional off on the property to make this work. And they're like, oh man. And then you can come back and say, you know what, let me do this. Let me see if I can make this work for you. I'll tell you what, now you become on their side of things. So you're going on their side of the table. And you'll say, let me see if I can make this work. If I could get them to be in a position where instead of taking 15 off, they would take 10 off. Do you think, can you make that work? Because then I'll go to work for you and say I can make this happen. And then they're like, yeah, if you can do that, that would really help. Now you're in a position where you're actually going in and helping them versus going against them on things. Now you're working from their side of the table versus the buyer side. See how powerful that is, guys? It's extremely powerful. So renegotiations is something you're going to have to deal with all the time. The thing is, what you want to do is become very good at this and constantly become better, improving your overall communication with them, and present evidence on things and show in a way where you're coming from their side of the table, not the buyer side. You don't want to come in and say, I'm doing this. Always blame it on like a third party and be on their side. Guys, these are huge tips that will make you a lot of money. I hope this helps, but it only helps if you use it, okay? Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it, and like this video, guys. We'll talk to you later.